Today I'm going to be breaking down how you can use Zap Root Riders here at Townhall 17 to 3-star any base in Legends League. So here is the army composition that we are going to be using, and it does heavily rely on the use of the Giant Arrow in combination with lightning spells. We of course then have Root Riders, which have pretty much been the meta in Legends League currently. But we'll jump in and we'll break this down. So as always, we have our resident Townhall 17 trophy pusher, Yappy Boy, coming on through with some attacks for us. Now Yappy has been trophy pushing for the longest time. He has played for some pretty big teams and does some base building as well. So he definitely knows what he is doing, and he's going to be bringing in some lightning spells, an earthquake, and our queen with the Giant Arrow. So we're going to be kicking off this attack with a bit of a funnel, taking down some of those outer defenses. We're then going to be using the Giant Arrow as well as, of course, the earthquake spells and lightning spells to take down a bunch of those defenses. Not only are we looking to try and maximize the value we're getting, but we're looking to try and create a little bit of a funnel as well. So the most important thing here, once you have deployed down your queen and you start to get a nice bit of value, let her take down a couple of buildings. We're going to use the invisibility spell with the help of that Grand Warden as well. Once they have taken down enough of the base that you know your troops are not going to walk or be tempted to walk around, you can go ahead and use that recall spell. There it is right there, picking all of them up, and then you can go ahead and redeploy them down behind your Root Riders. Those Root Riders are strong. They have been strong for a long time, but they're still going to be able to get a huge amount of value for you. We then of course have that troop launcher coming in behind, just helping you out with a couple more of those troops, as well as of course your own clan castle. Continuing on with this attack, we have the Barbarian King coming in with a couple of witches kind of from the opposite side. You'll see he comes in from that 12 o'clock section, where the rest of our troops kind of come in from that 3 to 2 o'clock section of the base, pushing around. We're then going to use the overgrowth spell in the core of the base. This is so our troops walk around and finish with that particular part of the base. The healers in this are really going to benefit you, and of course we want to make sure we try to deploy them down effectively so they're going to heal up everything and not just focus on one specific troop. Unfortunately for us here, we were looking for that Barbarian King with the witches to clear out a couple more buildings so our troops don't end up walking like they do here. But the overgrowth spell actually finishes at a pretty opportune time. We end up popping our Royal Champion's ability through in the core of the base. You'll see the Rocket Spear, if you zoom in, getting a nice little bit of value right there. And we're actually going to finish off with the Town Hall, which is not really a problem if you look at the sheer amount of troops, as well as that invisibility spell that we do still have left up. So this one, going to be a nice easy 3-star, pushing on through and clearing out the Town Hall. The most important thing here is honestly the initial portion of the attack, coming in with the Giant Arrow, making sure of course we line up so we take down the buildings we're looking for, and then using those lightning and earthquake spell to take down the defenses, and starting to create that funnel with the Queen herself and the Grand Warden before you recall them round to use your Root Riders, and then after that it's smooth sailing. You're going to see a lot of 3-stars. So progressing through into that second attack, again we're going to be identifying a portion of the base that we're going to be able to use those lightning and earthquake spells on with the combination of the Giant Arrow. Now the Giant Arrow typically at Townhall 17 isn't too effective unless you're using it for kind of a spam dragon attack where you take down the air defenses and sweepers, but other than that I've not seen it used too much. But this I think is a really effective way of using it. The Giant Arrow gets a nice bit of damage, enough that you can combine it with the earthquake and lightning spells, and you'll see again getting some good value with it here, taking down the monolith. Was it the no, it wasn't the monolith. I'm not sure what exactly we took down there, but we did get a nice chunk of value. And again we're approaching it the exact same way, letting our Queen and the Grand Warden with the healers from that Queen's ability just pick out some of these defenses, clear out a couple of them. It doesn't need to be a huge amount. We don't want to waste too much time in this particular part of the attack, though in saying that the Root Riders themselves are actually pretty quick. Recalling them, and then we can get going with the next stage of our attack. Root Rider is going to be making an appearance, couple of Coco Loons, be careful of course for those seeking air mines, and then we can push them in. Barbarian King again with those witches in behind, used slightly off just to one side, kind of opposite side of where we started. And that's just going to be to create that funnel. We want our troops to kind of walk around a ring, but we don't want them to walk all the way around the outside of the base, because they're just not going to get value there. So again, using that overgrowth spell not on the town hall, but on some of those key defenses pretty much in the core of the base. We're looking for our troops to kind of keep together. We're not wanting them to split up too much. So the king with those witches does a nice job on that left hand side. The overgrowth spell does the job on the right hand side, keeping everything pushing right through the core. Of course, as you make your way to that town hall, this is why we bring the Grand Warden and his Eternal Tome ability. We're going to go ahead, pop that off right there. That's going to help your troops clear up that town hall and continue to make some really nice progress. King, absolutely doing his job up there at that top section of the base, can pretty much be left to his own devices as long as he doesn't end up walking in. When it comes to pets, you guys can see the pet selection we went for. Nothing particularly special here, just the typical pets you tend to see on heroes when you are trophy pushing. If you have any invisibility spells left, which we do so happen to have right here, you can go ahead and use it on your royal champion, always very effective, or even your main push. Typically though, we're going to use the invisibility spells at the start of the attack, like we saw down on our Grand Warden and our Queen, just trying to maximise the amount of value they get in that kind of initial push, that initial Queen walk, just taking down a couple of those defences, creating the funnel before you get going with your remaining part of the attack. But another 3-star for us here in Legends League. And we have one more example to show you. So progressing through into that last one, we've got a pretty nasty base with that town hall all the way in the core, very isolated in there, but we're just gonna have to go for it. So let me know down in the comments, how are you getting on in Legends League? How has your trophy pushing been going? I myself have actually not trophy pushed at all. I've not tried out these new leagues, but if you have, I would love to know how it is going for you guys and what strategies you are using. This one, honestly, one of the few that Yappy Boy has showed me, but it seems to be incredibly effective. I think he nearly went perfect using this, so I would definitely recommend giving it a go. But approaching it, again, the exact same way, waiting for that giant arrow to come in, maybe not quite getting as much value as we were looking for there. The giant arrow kind of went a little bit off center, but regardless, we're still going to be pushing in. Grand Warden in combination, again, the Rage Gem on him, of course, really helps because it kind of ties in really good with the Queen and her healer puppet, which just allows those healers to be raged up really nicely. Invisibility spells going to be coming in again. We've got this mini charge kind of coming in at the start, clearing out some of these initial defenses and getting a good chunk of value. So remember, in this particular one, we're looking to clear out one kind of section of the base before we start thinking about using the whatever that spell's called right there. It's completely gone out my head, whatever it's called. But we're going to get going with the next stage of our attack. We assess what we're doing. We're going to get that skeleton spell down first. It's used in actually quite a lot of attacks, and it's used to tank for enemy heroes, monoliths, single target infernos, anything that is going to do a lot of damage very quickly to your heroes or your troops. The skeleton spell is going to be really effective at tanking for them. The recall spell is the spell that I was trying to talk about that I completely forgot about. I remembered it in the end, but the overgrowth spell this time does end up coming down on the town hall because we don't actually have too many other defenses that we could use that overgrowth on in the center. The king, unfortunately for us here, doesn't really get the value we were looking for up that left hand side of the base. We were perhaps a little too late with him, meaning some of our troops may end up walking to the outside of the base, but regardless, that overgrowth spell did its job. It helps stop some of the damage from that town hall as we make our progress around. Remember, we do of course have that king's ability. It can get popped off at any time around the outside of the base. The royal champion herself does have the rocket spear, so keep that in the back of your mind. If, like in this particular one, you've not taken down the town hall and you notice your royal champion is in and around the area, you can pop that rocket spear and she hopefully will lock onto the town hall and you can deal with it from range, which is always really nice when you're coming in with these kind of ground-based armies, so they don't need to get too close and they don't need to take too much damage. But again, this one looking incredibly strong. The healers Always great to see them transferring away from the Queen onto the Root Riders, the Royal Champion, whoever it may be as they make their progress through the base. But we end up with that King's ability still left up here on the back end of this one. Unfortunately, the majority of our pets have gone down, but it's not the end of the world because it's going to be another 3-star on the board for us here. King's ability still in hand and a nice way to finish off this video. So hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Like I said, let me know in the comments how you're getting on in Legends League, if you're enjoying it, what changes you would like to see, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.